resource speaker in strengthening teacher training across the Philippines and other teaching, learning-related topics conducted by the Regional English Language Office or RELO, U.S. Embassy in the Philippines, Lyceum of the Philippines University. I know you are as excited as I am meeting our next speaker. Here he is, Mr. Rainier G. De Jesus.
To our energetic Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Nerissa L. Rosaria, CESO 6. To our Assistant Schools Division Superintendents, Ma'am Flordelisa D. Pereira, CESE, and Dr. Medina. To our supportive OIC Chief of CID, Dr. Jocelyn M. Alinyab. To our equally competent education program supervisors and coordinators, public schools district supervisors, to my fellow resource speakers, and teacher presenter and simulators, good day to all of us. Welcome to webinar on teaching approaches and strategies for distance learning across learning areas. I am Sir Rainier G. De Jesus, a science teacher from Manuel Luis Quezon High School. I am your teacher guide for this webinar with the topic Basic Online Distance Learning Process in Facilitating Remembering the Lesson. Typically, remembering the lesson is the generalization part of a module or a lesson. For this topic, I highly recommend the use of language learning teaching approaches and strategies for this online distance learning in the new normal setup of education in the Philippines. Why language learning is important in teaching learning process? While the Philippines is still ahead of its Southeast Asian neighbors when it comes to conversational English, the latest data released by the Education First English Proficiency Index or EFEPI, the Philippines is ranked 20th and Hong Kong is ranked 33rd. The English proficiency level of college graduates in the Philippines is lower than proficiency target set for competency requirement for taxi drivers in Dubai. Filipino university graduates, median score was comparable for the proficiency of 5th and 6th grade students in native English-speaking countries such as United States of America and Britain. 2018 PISA results reveal that the Philippines scored 353 in mathematics, 357 in science, and 340 in reading, all below the average of participating OECD countries. DepEd recognizes the urgency of addressing issues and gaps in attaining quality of basic education in the Philippines. DepEd will lead this national effort for quality basic education through Sulong Edukalidad. Please watch a news clip from ABS-CBN News regarding PISA 2018 results.
Lagpas 3 dekada nang nagtuturo si Ginang Corazon. Aminado siya, mas mahirap magturo ngayon dahil iba na rin ang study habits ng mga bata.
Puro gadget yung ginagamit nila.
Kaya nang lumabas ang pinakahuling resulta ng PISA, dismayado siya at iba pang prinsipal.
Nalulungkot po, sana yung mga estudyante natin ay makuha yung pinaka talagang dapat na matutunan nila.
Frustrating, no? We are trying to do our best. The teachers are really pushed to their limits.
Gawin natin ang ating magagawa. Gumanap tayo ng tungkulin na ayon sa hiningi sa ating profesyon.
Sinusukat ng PISA sa pamamagitan ng ilang test ang antas sa pagbabasa, agham at matematika ng mga estudyanteng edad 15 anyos mula sa iba't ibang bansa. Sa 79 na mga bansang kumuha nito, lumabas na kulelat ang Pilipinas. Sa reading, pinakahuli ang Pilipinas na may score na 340, mas mababa pa sa average na 487 points, malayo sa China na may 555 points. Pagdating sa math at science, mababa rin ang score ng Pilipinas kumpara sa average scores. Angat ng konti sa Dominican Republic. Ayon din sa PISA, malaki ang epekto ng teknolohiya at kakulangan sa teacher at learning materials. Yun nga lang sa kaso ng China, mataas pa rin ang score ng mga estudyante kahit karamihan ay nag-aaral sa mga hindi mayayamang lugar. Sabi ng DepEd, hindi na sila umaasa ng milagro sa resulta ng PISA dahil mababa ang mga score ng mga estudyante sa National Achievement Test. Sumali sila sa PISA para umano malaman kung ano ang estado ng edukasyon ng Pilipinas kung ikukumpara sa ibang bansa at pag-aralan kung paano pa ito mapapabuti pa.
Una yung curriculum, that is an ongoing thing. Yung pangalawa yung sinasabi natin, yung facilities, yung learning environment. Pangatlo, yung teachers.
Suportado naman ng palasyo ang DepEd sa mga hakbangan nito na iangat ang kalidad ng edukasyon sa bansa. Jasmine Romero, ABS-CBN News.
Consider the following challenges. That is why I highly recommend the use of language learning teaching approaches and strategies for this online distance learning in the new normal setup of education in the Philippines. Suggested teaching approaches and strategies. Profiles. Frames. Metacognition. At this juncture, allow me to discuss to you the suggested teaching approaches in details. The first suggested teaching approach or strategy is making profiles. What are profiles? Text organizers and outlines that help students keep to the topic and follow a plan so that they can in turn guide the reader. Templates into which students plug appropriate information to solve a problem or explain a science concept. Allow the students to either organize or reorganize information based on prior knowledge and research. Introducing profiles. Why use profiles? The brain's susceptibility to paying attention is very much influenced by patterning. Patterns give context to information that otherwise would be dismissed as meaningless. From Jensen 1998, Teaching with the Brain in Mind. Consider the picture presented. What information can you get from the periodic table of elements? By this periodic table, we will have the profile of an element. Complete the information in this profile. Then write a story or an article about the element you have selected. Be sure to follow the organization of the profile. Based on this question, we can now write a simple profile activity of an element using Google Slides. In this way, we can develop the collaboration skills of our learners in completing the profile of an element. The next part of the video is a sample story of profile of an element. The element in focus is magnesium, and the story goes like this. Every element in our periodic table of elements has a story. Here is a part of the story related to one of them, magnesium. Magnesium is located in group 2A, period 3, with an atomic number of 12. Thus, it belongs to S block of elements in the periodic table. It is metallic. This description can be checked through its electronic configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, and 3s2. Elements with 3 or less number of electrons in their outer energy level are classified as metals. The arrangement of electrons showing magnesium's 2 valence electron can also tell that the 12 electrons of the element occupy 3 energy levels, indicating its period number 3. Magnesium is not capable of combining covalently with other elements found in groups 1A, 2A, and 7A in periods 2 and 3. However, it is willing to give up or donate its two valence electrons to any element in group 7A or 17 to attain a stable configuration following the rule of 8 or octet rule. One example is magnesium chloride, MgCl2. Again, the profile activity for the part of remembering the lesson is based from the lesson and the given most essential learning competencies. You may consider the following suggestions. Number 1, profile of an element. 2, profile of a planet. 3, profile of a scientist. 4, profile of a president. And 5, profile of an author. Now, let's move on to the second suggested teaching approach or strategy for basic online distance learning process in facilitating remembering the lesson. These are the frames. What are frames? In frames, syntactic structure is given which includes stem or partial sentences. Completing these partial sentences, it helps students focus on the content of the writing and focuses on organization. Why use frames? Frames help develop students' ability to fully explain how they arrive at their results. A way to provide differentiated instructions, and students learn to practice internalizing the sound of good writing and eventually organize their writing independently with their own voice. Frames can be used on the following: inquiry or seeking information. Comparing and contrasting. Summarizing and informing. Sequencing and ordering. Classifying. Inferring and predicting. Hypothesizing. Analyzing. justifying and persuading. Synthesizing. Solving problem. Evaluating. Now let's move to the third suggested teaching approach or strategy for basic online distance learning process in facilitating remembering the lesson, and that is metacognition. Metacognition is thinking about thinking and knowing your knowing, based from Costa and Cali 2000. Metacognition is knowing about knowing and ability to assess and reassess one's knowledge, from Rothstein A. et al. 2007. Why use metacognition? It develops reasoning, thinking, and self-evaluation to gain higher order knowledge. It brings about reflection and personal assessment. Rothstein et al. 2007. Metacognition helps students recognize the gap between being familiar with a topic and understanding it deeply. Terada 2017. The findings revealed a significant positive relationship between students' academic performance and metacognitive awareness. Sulkipli et al. 2009. Metacognition statements. How to write metacognition statements. 1. Select a term that you know something about from your subject theme. 2. Follow the outline of the frame to write what you know about the term. And the frame has starter phrases that you must complete. The following are starter phrases used in metacognition statements. My chosen word is I know that I know. First, I know. In addition, I know. Finally, I know. Now you know something that I know. This is an example of metacognition statements under the theme Changes in Matter. My chosen word is atom. I know that I know something about atom. First, I know that atom is the smallest particle of an element. In addition, I know that atoms combine with another atom to form compounds but remain unchanged under ordinary chemical conditions. Finally, I know that idea of atom came from Greek word atomos, which means indivisible. Now you know something that I know about atom.